today. Always good stuff at the National Championship Air Races 2023. Tommy Sanders here with Rob Lowe, and the final flag. This is the final race, the last chapter from Reno being written here. We got a lot of great racing.
We absolutely do, Tommy, and we're about to jump right back into Formula One racing. This would be our silver pairing, Heat 2B. Here today on Thursday, we're going to fly 8 laps around our up-close and personal 3.5-mile course. Now, you can see the aircraft beginning to stage out there on runway 8 at Reno Stead Airport. You can see there's 3 aircraft in the front, and then there'll be 2 in the middle, and just off your screen to the left is 3 more. Total of 8 aircraft in this heat, Tommy, and we staged that way on purpose so that when they take off from a standing or a horse race start, if somebody were to have a problem, the 2 aircraft in the middle can slide right through the gap, and same in the back. So we do start on the ground. The aircraft take off. They make left turns around our 3.5-mile course, and the aircraft, as they get up to speed, they begin to be more effective. So part of the standing start is a safety thing, but we don't start counting laps until we come back by the home pylon. That's where we start counting time and laps.
All right. Well, we've got a lot to come here in race 2B. Of course, yesterday's race would have been 1B, and one of the qualifiers from that race at 188.13 miles an hour was J.P. Odell from Salinas, California. He gave us some thoughts about that one.
This is my second year, so last year was my rookie year.
How'd you finish last year?
Dead last. So hopefully I built this new wing over the past year and sped us up quite a bit, so excited to try it out on the course today.
How did qualifying go?
Went pretty well. We qualified at 188, so I'm kind of middle of silver, and hoping we're going to be able to move up a little bit today's race.
Yesterday was amazing. I had such a good day. It was my first race ever, and it couldn't have been more exciting. So I learned a lot and had a really good time. I can't wait for the next race and maybe get that pass in that I fought so hard for. Third yesterday, so I moved up. But today I'll take pole position in silver. So I'm pretty excited about that, but we got some gold racers in the class at today's race, so I'm sure they'll be swinging around me a little, but I'll fight my hardest. Fly my best.
Jen Watson and Blackjack, she'll be racing out there. She's going to have the pole position as we start today based on her great performance yesterday in 1B, the race 1B, Formula One racing yesterday on Wednesday.
Yeah, Tommy, that's a great example of, she talked about moving up and moving down as we make our way through these heat races. That is exactly how it works. They keep getting paired till we get to Sunday and we have the most competitive matchings that we can. And there you see a great look of Jen Watson in race 21. Blackjack, such a beautiful looking Cassett 3M. And then beside her is Chet Harris, race 00. He calls it the Ought Not. And beautiful airplane there as he gets ready to race. He is slated in the number 2 position.
I guess he means we ought not to discount him.
Ought not discount him,
He's done well so far here. He did
really is a
yesterday.
beautiful airplane. And then over to the side of that, that is actually Justin Metters, race 34. That's Limitless, I believe, on that camera shot there. He is back in position 8 at the moment, so he would be on the back of the back row. Now, he is one of the gold racers that that Jen was talking about. Justin had did not finish yesterday in one of the earlier heats, so that moved him into the silver class back there in the back row. And
there's Paul Newman up there.
Yep, Paul Newman is in the number 3 spot, race 26, fast and easy.
Yeah, but Justin Metters, we don't know. The DNF means he could have possibly not started, but did not, in fact, finish that race, so was not given a position, thus the drop in class you mentioned.
Now, Justin is he's our defending champion in the back of this race. So he's not only a defending champion from last year, he's a 3-time national champion. 3
of the last 4 years of racing here in Reno.
Such a great story. Now, this purple and yellow airplane that's in front of us there is our number 4 position here on this race. That's race 39, J.P. Odell out of Salinas, California in the Monkey Ninja.
It's race 73 you see right there in 7th position, Steve Temple. Never easy. Cassett 3. 8 planes in all set to start here.
And there is the Atomic Pumpkin.
Yes.
Blair Hamilton, race 48 out of Cochrane, Alberta, Canada. So she was a rookie last year, did very well, and she's back this year competing again, doing very, very well. here at Reno in our final flag, our 59th year. So there is our red and white.
Yeah, that's Sean Milkey, the fat-ass Cass. Had a good race yesterday.
Yeah, 74, race 74. He really did well. Now, he moved up from the C class yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, correct, Tommy. Absolutely. So there you see the picture there with Sean Milkey in race 74. And so that's our field, Tommy. We've talked about them. These aircraft. There is race 21. Again, that's your pole position, Jen Watson. As we begin to talk about, these aircraft are small. They're a monoplane. They're limited to 166 square feet on the wing area. They have fixed gear. They all have the same engine, Continental 0200 engine, same as what's in your Cessna 150, but they turn it much faster here. They do have a fixed pitch prop, which means it's kind of like getting on your bicycle. You got to pick what gear. You only get one gear. So it may be in a really high gear that goes fast when you're up to speed, but it's really hard to pedal when you get started. So these aircraft will start slower if that's their choice, and you'll notice the crew chief and the pilot, they try to find that middle ground, what's best for them. Now watch Justin Metters on the back row. His normal mode is he gets off just a hair slower than some of the other competitors in the gold class, but he has a top end speed that runs people down.
Yeah.
So we expect to possibly see him moving through this field when they go. Now these aircraft, we talked about them being small, Tommy. They have a minimum weight of 500 pounds. When they have the pilot, the gear, that has to be 150 pounds. Put it all together. Normally between 500 and 600 pounds. It can be fully fueled, just under 800 pounds. Still, that's half the weight of a Harley Davidson.
Yeah. You could tow it with a moped, I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm not recommending that, but that's how tiny these aircraft are, and the fact that they can fly so quickly is such a wonder.
As you see the ground crews beginning to walk away from the aircraft, that means we're getting close. We have a red flag up. The pilots have had a warning. That flag will go to green. When green drops or green raises, when the green flag comes out, the adrenaline goes up, so does the throttle. We get fired up. The aircraft take off like we talked about in a standing start. As we span out here on the view, you can see all 8 aircraft almost. You see 3 in the front, 2 in the middle, and you can see the number 6 aircraft back there on the inside of the back row. There are actually 3 aircraft back there on the back as well. Total of 8 aircraft in this heat, Tommy. It is going to be very exciting here in the silver pairing.
That front row there is going to be the pole position, Jen Watson, and race 21, Chet Harris. Race ought, the ought not, position number 2, and right there with them in the front row is Justin Metters, a three-time winner here in this event.
Yeah, and so we had slated that Justin was going to be in the back row in position 8. So, but he's actually there in the front row. So that's probably a safety consideration, just that his aircraft typically qualifies a little faster than some of these others. So that avoids him having to slide through the entire field.
That's a good point.
So good correction on our part. Thanks for catching that, Tommy. So we do see the 1, 2, and 3 there. Now, Justin is a fantastic story. For those that don't know, Justin was injured in a motorcycle accident many years ago. He is a paraplegic. And unlike the other pilots in every other class at Reno, Justin flies his aircraft purely by hand control. There are no leg rudder pedals in this aircraft. He does it all with his hands, and he's a 3-time national champion. He's our defending national champion in this class. So here at the final flag the last year, I know he's campaigning to repeat and become the 4th time if he can. But he's got a whole field of folks that have something to say about that, Tommy.
Absolutely. Jen Watson and then Chet Harris will be cutting their eyes to the right, keeping their eye certainly on Justin Metters, who won in 2018. It was won in 2019 by the famous Dreadnought, another F1 legendary airplane. Freydnought, not
yes,
Dreadnought.
sir.
Freydnought, yeah, that's right. And of course, there's no racing in 2020, and Justin has won the last 2 years, 20 and 21.
Right, absolutely. And then you've got Freydnought was Lowell Slater, 3-time champ back then, just like you said. You know, so there's a long rivalry there. And you know, this year we have this class is primarily dominated by Cassett racers. There's 18 of them of the 22. Justin Metters there in the front row flies a Snowshoe SR1. He's the only one of those type that's here. We have 2 shoestrings, and there's 1 Gilbert DG2 in the class overall. 22 racers in this class overall. We're going to get to see 8 of them here in the silver pairing as we get ready to start. You see some beautiful World War II trainer T6 aircraft taxiing out in front. There's so many historic things happen at Reno, Tommy. It's just big. But there's the green flags up, Tommy. Here we go. Throttles are coming up. You see the choices that the pilots and the crews have made as the aircraft accelerate at different rates, but they will all accelerate together in our standing horse race type start. And you can see Jen Watson there in the pole position and Justin Metters there. The black and white race 34 has already moved out into the lead, Tommy.
That's his uncharacteristically fast start for Justin Metters. You mentioned his propensity to start slow but get the speed up, the overwhelming speed once they get up into that first lap.
Now, these aircraft in the F1 class typically operate. They can get up to close to 250 miles an hour. We will see Justin Metters probably approach that speed. The rest of the aircraft in this silver pairing have qualified around 200. So we'll see them probably 200, a little bit more. But there's a great look at Justin Metters in the limitless aircraft. That's what he calls it, and that really is his philosophy in life. We talked about his challenges, but he takes that and turns it to his advantage, and Justin flies absolutely limitless in a beautiful race 34.
This is our starter lap now. You can gain position, you can move around, but the count does not start until these planes pass the start-finish pylon for the first time, and then we'll start the first of 8 official laps.
And there's Justin, as you see that beautiful snowshoe SR1 as he makes his way around. Race 34 out of Mineral Wells, Texas, just out west, about an hour of Fort Worth. And there is race 21. That is Jen Watson, who was our pole position, now in second place as she heads down the home stretch. And there we're back to Justin Metters as he makes his way around pylons 1, 2, and 3 on the far east end of the course. Now, the aircraft pull about 2 to 3 times the weight of gravity, 2 to 3 Gs, Tommy, as they go around. It's you can see there's not a very long period that they're straight and level, and then right back into the turns as we watch Jen there. Here we see second and third as they're going down the backstretch with Jen Watson in race 21 and Paul Newman in race 26.
Had a very good race yesterday.
When they turn up like that, you get to see the top of the wing. I'm sorry, Tommy. And, you can see Paul Newman's beautiful airplane. When you see the top of that wing, it's just a spectacular paint scheme that he has there. But you see Jen is able to stay out in front of him as they make their way back to the home pylon here.
It's 2 and 3. There's your leader once again, 3-time champion here in Reno, Justin Metters.
Well, he looks like he's on rails, Tommy. You can see a good view of that aircraft here in this camera shot. You see the shape of the wing. It's got that curved leading edge out there on the tip. A little more bird-like than maybe the shape of the wing on the Cassett racers. It's all just about aerodynamics. One isn't necessarily better than the other. It's just a different approach to the aerodynamics. This aircraft, a little bit more composite in its construction, but they're all limited. Again, this is a true technical formula class. There's some very strict rules that date all the way back to the 30s when these were called midget racers. They're all limited to 166 square feet of wing area. So the engineers take different approaches, and you can see some of that just in the shape and the styling. And some
a few tiny tweaks they can do to those engines there. Nothing huge, but basically close to it. Stock race.
And here we are at looking at second and third, Tommy, as we continue to see Jen Watson in race 21, followed by fast and easy race 26. That's Paul Newman. Now, we talked earlier about her staying out in front, but it looks to me like Paul may be figuring something out as they go around the course here. He's slowly gaining on him. Now, here you see a strategy down the backstretch where we see somebody pulling up and out. So that is likely that there's possibly a problem with that aircraft. Everything looks to be okay, but that was Jen Watson that pulled up off the course.
She's left the race course.
She's left the race course. You can see when the aircraft, here is Paul Newman down low. We fly typically at just above 50 feet above our pylons outside the round. You see him rounding pylon number 6 coming up the home stretch right here. And this is race 00. That's Chet Harris. We've been saying that was Paul Newman, so my apologies for that. But that is Chet Harris, who is now in second place.
All alone in second place now, and just joining us, Jen Watson started the day in the pole position, just left the race.
Yeah, So Chet has been the one that was in third that entire time and now in second, Tommy. So our apologies to Chet and his crew, because he's flying a fine race, and we're getting to see a great example of it here as he zips down the back straightaway. What a beautiful shot from out in the desert with our pylon cam coming right into your living room here, Tommy. Pylons 4, 5, and 6. Here's another shot as he comes back toward you. Pylon 6 and headed to the home straightaway as we make our way through.
As good a race as he's running, not too far behind him, Rob, is Justin Metters, and that's not a huge surprise.
Yeah, Justin aircraft, his strategy is always, once that aircraft gets up to speed, it just rolls. And you can see he's beginning to overtake a lot of the field here. And you can see Justin making his way around to pylons 1, 2, and 3. The far eastern end of our up close and personal 3.5 mile track. And as he heads down the backstretch there, we'll see pretty soon we'll begin to see some of the aircraft that he's catching come into the shot. Now, no matter if you're really a lot faster or just a little bit faster, no matter what, you have to pass on the outside. Right, so the inside track is the shortest way around the course. So to pass on any kind of closed course pylon racing you got to take the longer way around. But a great look at our leader here, Tommy. Just on rails. Justin just has that aircraft dialed in. That is limitless. Race 34. And he looks very smooth. Everything looks to be back on track for whatever caused the DNF yesterday. Justin appears to be right back on track here in the Silver Heat 2B pairing here in the Formula One class.
And of course, move back into the gold class based on the results of this race. He's certainly on track to do that. Once again, second place, Chet Harris, Anchorage, Alaska in the double run.
You see him passing one of the slower aircraft there that has kind of pulled up and out of the way. So we talked about having to pass on the outside. That is only if the slower aircraft is out in front and tight. If the slower aircraft pulls up and away, then you have the opportunity. And that's a judgment call that the pilots make, and also is a judgment call the race officials. And then Justin Metters just zipping by there in that shot as we looked at a great shot at the blue and white checkered home pylon as our aircraft make their way around. There you see Justin Metters coming around pylon number 3. Headed back to the west. The backstretch of our up close and personal 3.5 mile.
This is the second day of racing for the silver class or the B class. It's F1 race 2B. He's picking up with us, Justin Metters, the odds-on favorite coming into Reno this year. Did not finish this race yesterday. So he dropped to B and we're going to move back up to the gold class.
Tommy, that's one of the great things about how Reno works through the heat races all week long as we make our way to Sunday. The aircraft can move up and move down, and ideally we end up with the best competitive grouping when we get to Sunday. Here's a great shot of the home pylon. You see the various aircraft coming by, and you saw going down the backstretch. You can see that orange aircraft in the distance. That is the Atomic Pumpkin, Blair Hamilton, as aircraft are continuing to make their way around. There's the beautiful purple and yellow race 39. That's J.P. Odell and Monkey Ninja. Here comes Blair Hamilton, the Atomic Pumpkin out of Canada.
Looks like Sean Milkey will be coming up next, and then Steve Temple will be bringing up the rear.
Getting into the final laps of our race here. 74. Good race yesterday for Sean Milke. Fat ass Cass.
And here's 73. This is Steve Temple out of Genoa, Nevada. Never easy is what he calls that airplane as he comes across the line here at the home pylon.
Many airplanes will be going direct to the downwind. You'll be seeing them doing wing wags, similar to
Tommy, I think they've all crossed, and we saw the checkered flag wave there. So I think they've all pulled up off the course. And let's look at it one more time here, Tommy, as we see the start. We had Jen Watson there on the pole on the right side of your screen. Justin Metters in race 34 jumped out immediately on departure. And here you see him in here airborne all the way around, he led flag to flag, Justin Metters, and there you see a good look at Jim Watson in race 21. But there is Justin Metters, and as expected in this pairing, Justin was able to just be on rails and pull out in front.
Justin, a dominant figure in F1 racing, 4 out of the last 3 years here in Reno. Absolutely no contest. Got out and had it all to himself, all that good air to himself for a long, long time.
And you saw there in that previous shot, Jen Watson pulling up off the course safely with some sort of an issue on her aircraft, but she's made it back around safely now, and all good there. And there you see Justin Metters passing some of the